I feel like they're very good tips, and they're definitely going to help you to achieve a first class. So if you do want one, then make sure you watch it. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So it's Bernie here. And if you're new to my channel, hello to you guys. So I'm really excited to film from here, actually, to film from home. Because like my last couple of videos, I've been at uni and it's been spontaneous, it hasn't been really planned, yada yada yada. But anyway, I'm really excited for this one because I feel like I'm getting back into the routine. As you guys have probably seen from the title, we're going to be talking about how to get a first class today, because we just need to get a first class. So if you do want to get a first class, then stay on and watch this video. First off, I'm just going to start off, give a bit of background as to like my story. I'm not going to go too much into it because I've already done a video about like my journey from A-levels to uni and then where I am now in medical school. So if you guys do definitely want to find out my main tips about getting a first class at university, then do keep on watching, or you can skip if you want to, whatever you want to do, it's up to you. As you guys have probably seen from the title, where I said almost failed my A-levels and still ended up with a first class, it honestly is, I almost failed my A-levels. So like I said previously, I'm probably going to be referring back to that video a lot because I already said a lot in that video. But anyway, I'd gone into year 12 and year 13. Honestly, I don't know what I was thinking. I'd skimmed through GCSE I'd gone through GCSE with getting really good grades and not had to work really hard for it, if that makes sense. I hadn't really worked hard for it and I was able to get really good grades. So I don't know, I just had this assumption that A-levels was going to be like that as well. And like, obviously, I've probably heard someone say, or heard a couple of people say, oh yeah, you have to work hard in A-level, but it didn't really sink in how much like you have to actually work hard at A-level, because it's quite a big jump. Nobody told me. I didn't have my priorities straight. I was thinking more about getting my volunteering for medical school, like getting all the extracurricular activities. As much as that's important, you also need to think your grades, which I wasn't thinking at that time. I was just thinking, I need to get all these things done, work experience, volunteering, I need to do all these things so my personal statement is really good, without thinking your grades. So anyway, for AS level, I've already said this in all this video, so if you do want to find out the more details, then just go and watch that video. But yeah, I'd done my AS level exams and I was like, oh sugar, like nah, I need to work hard, like we can't be doing this live. So I pushed myself and I was like, yes, I am going to do it. And then got into A-level and then was able to get good grades at A-level. Well, finish with good grades at A-level. If you guys have been following me, you'd know that I'd previously done a degree at Essex, did biomedical science, and now I'm currently studying medicine, for those of you that don't know. So I went into Essex thinking, you know what, I want the best of grades and I am going to work for the best of grades. I do not even care. So as soon as I entered first year, I was like, everything and anything in my head was just first class, first class, first class. And like, it was just ringing in my head. Finished my degree at Essex and I did get a first class by God's grace anyway. So I just thought I'll share with you guys my main tips as to like what I did at university to make sure I got a first class. So the very first thing I'm going to tell you guys, it's going to sound quite, I don't know what's the word, boring, but this is the most important thing. You need to attend your lectures. Like, you can't be sitting there thinking, yeah, I want to get a first class, but you're here missing your lectures. Yes, 9 a.m, 10 a.m, whatever, please just go to it. If I miss a lecture just cause, it's always going to give me a reason just to miss another lecture. So unless there's a good reason why I'm missing a lecture, I am not missing it. I would honestly rather prefer that I go to that lecture, even if I'm really tired, I still go to it, because you never know what you can get in, whether or not you're like actively listening. You never know, because you're paying £9,000 as well. You cannot come out of university £21,000 in debt. That's just for your tuition, minus like your maintenance and whatever, and then like not attend. This is not even to do with getting a first class or not getting a first class. Just going to university, you're paying £9,000 and you want to be missing lectures. each to their own, but I don't see the point in it. When I graduated, I had a couple, this was before I even started YouTube or anything. I had a couple people ask me like my tips on how to get a first class. And like I was saying to her, one of the girls, should I say ladies, one of the people that asked me, I was saying to her that basically I feel like a lot of people don't understand or don't grasp how much like you can use your lecturers, if that makes sense. Like they're there, but people will not go to the lectures. I know sometimes some lecturers are not the best, like you email them and they're not there. But listen, I'm paying £9,000, so whether you like it or not, you're going to listen to me. So I will go to the office, I will wait there until the person comes, I will send them emails. Yes, don't answer my emails, that's your business. I'm coming to your office until you answer my question, because I'm paying £9,000. I'm paying money, and like, from what I can see, the only thing I'm paying you money for is for you to teach me and understand, because every other thing, like printing, you have to pay for your printing. So the only thing I'm paying for is for you to teach me and for me to understand. So therefore, if I don't understand, I am coming to you until I understand it. So make use of your lecturers, go to your lectures. The third thing is to make sure that you're consistent and you're motivated. Motivation comes and goes, really. University life, it's more like it's a graph, really, because you come in, you're like all excited to learn, especially if it's something that you really enjoy, that, well, you hope that you're going to enjoy. You are really excited, like the graph is like that, like you're really excited, you're happy, enthusiastic, everything. And then you go through times when it's like, you know, dipping down. But it's more like a roller coaster, really, and it's fine if that happens, it fluctuates, that's okay. But you have to always think to yourself that this is what I want at the end of this. I want to be able to get this. I want to be able to get that. And that's up to you, what you want. And unless you get that in your head that, okay, I want this and this is how I'm going to work hard for it. Like the least amount of time you spend at uni is 3 years. It's a long time, but honestly, it goes so quick. University goes so quick. I can tell you that. But yeah, it goes so quick. Next thing I'm going to tell you guys is Courseworks. Depending on your university and what modules you do, you would have Courseworks. I personally always said to myself, Courseworks, yeah, whether it's 1% of my degree, 10%, 55% or 100%, I do not care. I am giving my all in that coursework, because you never know, 1% might be the difference between you getting a 2.2 or 2.1 or first class. So whether it's 1% or 0.3%, it's important. So you have to take your courseworks very seriously. So whether it's courseworks or projects or teamwork, I know teamwork can be hard to work with sometimes because people are not ready to work, but just honestly give it your all. Whatever it is, just think like this could be the difference between me getting this grade and me getting that grade. Next thing I'm going to discuss is learning guides and objectives. So we had like a little booklet as soon as we came into biomedical science, and even here you have a booklet that says what you should be able to attain and what you should be able to do, understand by the end of that year. So obviously first year will be different from second year and third year, and obviously will be different for different modules. So whatever module you're doing, I'm sure, I think almost positive that there will be a learning guide and a learning objectives. I always use this to study. Sometimes they don't correspond with what you're studying, but it's a very good guideline, because most of them, at least I can speak for my previous degree, the actual exam question is probably a chunk of that objective. They mash up all the objectives together and then form like an essay question, and that's what they ask you. So if when you were revising, you're using that to revise, that's how I used to make my notes with the learning objectives or my flashcards. I would use the learning objectives, like literally put the learning objectives and try to answer that learning objectives. So if a question comes up, I am ready for that question. I am ready for that question. Is to find out how you study as a person. I myself, I don't know if I've mentioned in this channel before, I'm a very visual learner. I learn by watching videos. I learn by practicality of things, seeing things. I will not forget it, and I learned that from my time at secondary school. That's why I tried to do at AS. I thought I could just read things and like it would work for me, because obviously that worked for me at GCSE, but it didn't work. So anyway, you need to find out how you learn as a person. Are you a visual learner, audio, Do you learn by writing notes? Do you learn by just reading and reciting it to yourself? Do you learn by questions and asking yourself questions and answering exam papers, whatever that may be? Which probably brings me on to the next and final tip, which is like using past papers. University, what you guys have to realize at uni, it's different. Of you guys will probably already know if you're at university, or if you don't know, if you're at A levels and you want to get a first class. University, it's easy to get a grade if you want to get that grade, and I'll explain what that means. Basically, university is not like A level where an exam board sets your exam questions. So you've got OCR, or what other ones are there? I can't remember. OCR, I remember OCR because that's what we did. The exam board sets your questions. It could happen that you actually in your school haven't done a certain topic or done a certain technique, so you're looking at the questions like, I don't know what this is. But at university, because it's your actual lecturers that set the question, that's why I said you guys need to make sure that you make use of your lecturers. If they explain things to you, sometimes, I'm not saying you should do this, but sometimes when they're explaining stuff, they're like, oh, I'm not saying, but this is a possible exam question. Take a note of that because that is an exam question. They try to cover their back and be like, but take a note. So anyway, the exams are set by your lecturers, and like they get some other university people on the exam boards to like check it. It's not a lecturer exam board, but it's a university exam board. So they get people from other universities to check it, that to make sure that the questions are relevant and like not too difficult, or at the same time not too easy, because they set like difficulty questions and easy question based on like separating the top tier student from the lower tier student. So sometimes they put a mix of questions. But yeah, so if you definitely make sure that you make use of your lecturers, you probably most likely can kind of like guess questions, because you know the topics they're excited about, you know what topics they really like ask the student to listen to, because that's probably going to be an exam question. Yeah, I think that's all I was going to discuss with you guys. I hope you guys have found, I hope there's nothing on my teeth or my face right now, because it's a bit peak because I can't see the camera. Anyway, I hope you guys have found this very helpful, and I hope that you're able to incorporate these tips that I've mentioned into your university life, and then you can then come back on this video and then comment with your first class graduation things, you know, and then let me know, okay? And obviously pray as well. Prayer is important. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.